Welcome to the first in a 5-part webinar series. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Graham Davies and I'm the Governor of Rotary District 9685. Tonight our webinar is on the topic of Rawcs and what it can do for your clubs. The webinar series is part of the online component of our district conference, our one-day district conference, and can be accessed on our website. Before I introduce tonight's panel, I'd like to invite you to submit questions online by typing online so that the panel can address those questions after their presentation. Tonight we have Miriam Jacker. Miriam is the President of the Rotary Club of Winston Hills. She is also Chairman of our District Rawcs team. She also coordinates that wonderful organisation called Donations in Kind. Her co-presenter is Philip Isaacs. Philip is the President of the Rotary Club of North Ryde, and Philip has been on many Rawcs projects. So welcome to our seminar tonight. Philip, you're leading away.
Thank you very much, Graham, and it's our great pleasure to be able to be here tonight to tell you about Rawcs and how you can become involved. It'll cover 3 parts. Firstly, there'll be some stories about New Guinea and Vanuatu. Secondly, Miriam will give us a full breakdown of what Rawcs is all about and how it can be used to help you. And finally, we'll show a DVD of something that has been done in Vanuatu. Quite interesting and something that's quite enthused everybody. And then we'll ask you to submit questions and we'll try and answer those questions. I come from North Ryde Rotary Club, which is a small club, and it's difficult to get a worldwide project going, and what we did was to join up with some other clubs to make sure that we got to know how a Rawcs project worked before we entered our own projects. We went to PNG first with Salamander Club and worked at a little school called Mando. Then we went to FOMU, which is run by Kenthurst Rotary Club. Really fantastic working with other clubs. You get to meet so many people. And then we got on to our own projects, Cambodia, where we did cataract operations, and then Vanuatu, where we've been working with Winston Hills. So Mando was a school where we built 5 classrooms, and it was interesting working with other Rotarians and working with the local people. Mando is about 50 kilometres out of Goroka, and an interesting little town, but it does have 240 volt power. So you can see what it looks like now. Another lot of 5 classrooms have been built. And then moving on to FOMU. This is a little town 70 kilometres from Goroka, but in the other direction. And it's a very remote village. No power, no water, and they hadn't had a school for 20 years. They'd been fighting, tribal fighting. So Kenthurst got involved and decided to build a school, and you can see there that it started in 2005. And the finished school is shown there with students, and there's about 300 students now from nothing 5 years ago. Absolutely amazing. But this school doesn't have any power, and it was necessary to do what we could to bring them to the 20th century at that stage by bringing in a computer system. And Rotary spoke with TAFE at Castle Hill, and together we developed this computer system. This is a little computer system. It's solid state, it works off 12 volts, and it really fitted in with what TAFE wanted, a sustainable computer system that could be used in developing countries. And you can see on the screen now one of the final computer systems. And we installed 10 systems there, and we needed solar power, so that system was developed, and we put that system onto the roof and took up TAFE students and TAFE teachers. And here's a student from TAFE teaching the local people how to install a solar power system. Here is the head teacher of TAFE at Castle Hill, Tim Smith, who's teaching the teachers at FOMU school on 10 computers that we installed. Now, with any project you need to have something that's going to be interesting. People work very hard, but they need some sort of entertainment, and the volunteers that we take up usually have something to makes them really interested in. And in FOMU they went to the Goroka show, the Goroka Sing Sing, and they learnt a lot, especially the students who saw how people live and they also learnt a lot about how the community lives, and if they don't grow food, they don't eat. And it really came back with a different attitude to life. With Cambodia, we had to raise money. We had to raise about $30,000 to do cataract operations up there and work with the hospitals in Phnom Penh. Here's a fundraising dinner which we held together with a lot of Cambodian people and Vietnamese people, and we raised a significant amount of money at that particular project. The patients, any number of patients need cataract operations in Cambodia, so we worked with the Fred Hollows Foundation to make sure that we didn't compete with them, and we worked with them, and we got to meet a lot of people, and we did about 100 cataract operations within one day, and the theatre was filled with ophthalmologists, ophthalmic surgeons, nurses, everything, all volunteers going to work on this particular project. And you can see some of the patients in recovery, and one of the major things was to see these people coming up to you and crying when they could see again, and that really, you know, opened your heart, opened your eyes, and you knew that Rotary was doing something worthwhile. Now, other things have happened. You know, when you let people know what you're doing, other people just fall out of the sky and help you. This little company in Riverston has made us this plug and play system. It's a way of allowing us to install solar power systems without experts being in attendance. And they've just made 3 of these for us at no charge, and I think they probably cost about $6,000 each. So we went to Vanuatu again with different students, different teachers, and again we're able to teach people in Vanuatu in a very remote village, no water, no power, living in grass huts, drinking a lot of kava, I must say, but we had fun doing it and we learnt a lot. We did put in a microwave link to make sure that we can put in internet if necessary in that particular school. The students were just absolutely amazing. These students entertained us as well as their parents. So we had a fantastic time and learnt a lot, we taught a lot, worked hard and really played hard. So that's one experience of what happens on a Rawcs project. You've got to be able to get started. You need to get a project, decide on what sort of project you want to run. You know, it could be something that you've heard about, it may be something else that you're interested in doing. You have to get funding. There are several ways of getting funding. We'll talk more about that a bit later. You need to carry out the project. You need volunteers. You need to do all the paperwork that Rotary requires to make sure that you've got insurance coverage, to make sure you've got all the accommodation and that it's safe to where you're going. You have to report what you've done to make sure that all the reports show that what we have done is worthwhile. But more importantly, you've got to have fun doing it. So that's a Rawcs project, or several Rawcs projects, and one person's involvement in them. And there are many, many more. There are 300 plus projects that Miriam will tell you about. Well, that's about all I've got to say on projects, but Miriam, how about you tell us about what Rawcs is all about? You've had so much experience in Rawcs, being chairman of District 9685 and being involved in a lot.
Thank you,
Miriam.
Paul. Rawcs, it's an Australian, Rotary Australia World Community Services, and it's a public company comprising of several regions throughout Australia: Central, Eastern, which is what we belong to, Northern, Southern and Western regions. They have tax deductible gift recipient status, or tax deductibility, and Rotary's organisation to cover Rotarians while travelling on projects. The focus of all projects must be covered by the RI areas of focus: peace and conflict resolution, disease prevention and treatment, water and sanitation, maternal and child health, basic education and literacy, economic and community development.
So what you're saying is, if you're going to develop a project for Rawcs, it has to fall into one of those categories.
One of those categories, that's right. And I must add that 9685 have got 61 projects Rawcs projects, and there's approximately 360 to 370 projects nationally, and it is increasing every day. If you want to find the website to have a look at these projects or to get more information, go to the websites that are up on the screen, and that will be able to guide you there.
They give you a lot of information about Rawcs.
Yes, it does. It gives you all the forms. If you want to become a volunteer for any project, you can get the forms off there, and it also helps you to apply for a project yourself. Deciding on a project. Your club may not be big enough for one project, so 2 clubs together quite often helps. I often go away, well, I should say all the time, I go away with people from about 3 or 4 different Rotary clubs. Their Rotary clubs aren't big enough for a project, but they want to go on a project, so they're more than welcome to come. And it spreads across districts too. It's not just in 9685. Other districts come along also. They may want to do their project, so they come along and see how a project is run, and they might want to do a project in that country too, so they may see something that's worthwhile doing while they're there on the project. All you've got to do is register. In registering the project in the country, you've got to have the authorisation for the Rotary Club in that country, and also the DG of the day, as well as our Rotary Club, that is wherever the manager of the team is. It could be North Ryde as Phil, or Winston Hills as me, and plus the District Governor of the day. It needs the President and the District Governor of both countries to sign it. And there are...
Does that mean that you can only do projects in a country where there is a Rotary Club?
Yes, it is. That's the problem. There are different projects in other countries, but you've got to have a Rotary Club in that area. I believe there is one country that has got a... sorry, that's not quite true. Sorry, I'll take that back, Phil. There is a Rotary Club in our district that wants a matching grant. They have got a Rawcs project in this country, but there's no Rotary Club, so they can't get a matching grant. Right, details, once as before, detailed application forms are on the Rawcs website, and that is on the screen now as well. Funding for your project, any funding from corporate people or friends is tax deductible. You can get a tax deductible receipt for that. We can come to your Rotary Club to talk on different projects. There are 61 projects in 9685, so there is one country for almost every club, or guest speaker for every club. District simplified grants to help your project, as well as matching grants or global grants. And there is also many other ways of fundraising.
Sausage sizzles.
That's correct.
Oh, wow.
Operation of projects. First of all, you've got to work out whether you want things to come from Australia. So if you're refurbishing a hospital, may be able to get hospital beds and mattresses from our warehouse at donations in kind, schools, desks and chairs, and also library books. Team members, where to get them. All you've got to do is put your hand up, and sometimes you get them coming out of the woodwork, and as I said before, from different districts also.
And you can also take non-Rotarians as well.
My word, many a time we've had partners come along for the experience, and they keep coming back as well. Now payments, they have got to be collected by somebody booking the airfares. Usually the manager of the team does that, as well as the accommodation. Donations in kind. The warehouse is at Minchinbury, and that covers all the eastern region, and we collect anything to do with education and health. As I said before, hospital beds and mattresses, anything else in health, education, Many schools now are throwing or giving away exercise books and school uniforms. Many countries don't have school uniforms for their schools, so they're quite prepared to have any uniform whatsoever. And also we can visit your club talking about donations in kind. But I might like to add at this point donations towards in DIK. We need help, and it's not just having people come along on the day to work at donations in kind, it's also money to help us run the organisation.
What about, what don't you take at DIK?
We don't take things that are broken, Phil, because if we did, we would have them sit in another country, in a developing country, and sit there until they rotted. We don't take hospital beds with broken wheels, anything missing, wheelchairs, unless it's completely workable. It's got to be in good working condition before we accept it. Ranfurly Library. This is another part of the Rawcs area, and it's located in the grounds at Old Callan Park Hospital at Balmain. They're open every Thursday morning. They collect books, reading books, school textbooks, and manned by volunteers each week, and there's a few ex-school teachers there. They do their books up in boxes of the A4 size paper, and they're ready for shipment anywhere in the world to go out in the containers.
So if we had a project building a school in an area, we could go to Ranfurly and ask them for particular types of books?
Yes, they do. They have books for adults right down to preschool, so it's quite handy. They are used quite a lot by the Rotarians.
Do we have to pay for those?
Not usually, but they do like donations of $100 for a couple of boxes, and it is well worth paying, because you know things, you've got to pay for things.
Of course, they need money to run
right.
an operation like that, boxes and biscuits.
That's right, morning tea. The other thing covered by Rawcs is Rotarians Against Malaria, or RAM, as we all know it. Malaria is a current major illness in our close neighbourhood. Money for bed nets, which are distributed to many countries. It's $1,000, I believe, for bed nets, and this covers a whole village, not just one or two families in the village. It covers the whole village, and that way they can eradicate the mosquito completely. And it is a good club project for clubs that don't want to go away on a Rawcs project, and it's an international project, and there are also good guest speakers on this subject as well. RABS, this is the newest addition to the Rawcs family. It's Rotary Australia Benevolent Society, a separate organisation to assist Rotarians respond to needs within their own community, not just an international community, and gaining tax deductibility as well. Projects may support disasters or needs of individuals. Our district has 4 of the 10 projects Australia-wide, so that's pretty good for our little district.
And that's only been going for several months, hasn't it?
That's right. We've had 4 projects since November, I think.
But the bushfires in the Blue Mountains.
Yes.
The typhoon in
Philippines. And then there was a family in Africa, and then there was another one by District Governor-elect or nominee Ian Scott. This is also, it is based on the different things. You've got to have poverty, sickness, suffering, distress, misfortune, disability, destitution and helplessness. And they must address one of those topics.
Well, wow, Miriam, Rawcs covers many things, and to give some idea of some particular projects, how about we run a DVD which covers a project in Vanuatu?
Thank you, Phil.
Hi, my name is John and I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Winston Hills. I also am a member of the project volunteers for Rotary Australia World Community Service. The Rotary Club of Winston Hills have concentrated our club projects at the Arup Secondary School, Vanawalava. We have set up a school library, refurbished classrooms, dormitories, built an eco-friendly toilet. In partnership with the ACU, the Australian Catholic University, we have introduced professional teacher training. We have also installed solar low-powered computers with the aid of Western Sydney Institute of TAFE Hills campus.
Hi, I'm Phil Isaacs. I'm from North Ryde Rotary Club and we're part of District 9685. I'm a Rotary Australia World Community Service volunteer. We call that Rawcs. And I'm on location in Vanuatu doing a project with Winston Hills Rotary Club. We're on Vanalava and Torbuk province of Vanuatu.
We have students starting from year 7 up to year 12 on the Anglophone side, and year 7 up to year 10 on the Francophone side. We have 217 students. We have students who board in the school. We have a total of 84 students who board in the school, and the difference of 217, those are the ones that they come from outside. We have 7 subjects on the Anglophone, that's junior. Year 7 to 10 we have 7 subjects, and the senior students, that's 11 and 12, we have 6 subjects. For year 7 to 10 we use the national curriculum. For year 11 and 12 we use a regional curriculum which is called PSC, Pacific Senior Secondary Certificate. Teachers is one of the main things that we really need help of to be put in place in this school. But we know that with human resources, Rotary maybe can't afford. We need some classrooms. We need to upgrade some classrooms, renovate some classrooms. But the most important thing that we're really in need of is staff housing. Currently we get some help for building classrooms, but we don't get any help for building staff houses. If our students can have proper sanitation. The most important thing that we're really in need of now is the school library. The school currently have a very small library. As a principal, I really need a good library. Firstly, I would like to say thank you very much to Rotary for everything that has been put into this school. I can say 90% of the changes that have taken place in this school for the 12 years that I was here, let me say 95% is done by Rotary. It's done by Rotary. So as a principal now, I would like to say thank you on behalf of the school administration, the former school principal, and the school council, and also the people of Torba province, but especially the children of Torba province.
How does the school make its money? How do you get money from
the school
government?
Gets its money from the school fees and from the government grant.
Can you give us some idea of how Rotary has assisted Arup School?
Yeah, the compost toilet, the dining hall, and now the dormitory for the boys, and the computers, the blanket, the bed, the towels, and the toys for the students.
When I was a student, the dining hall was not in good condition. But when the Rotary came in, they renovated the dining hall, and now the dining hall is in good condition. Another thing that I noticed from the help of the Rotaries was the library. When the Rotary came in, they brought us very good books, updated with updated information, and I noticed we have a lot of science resources, especially textbooks, and lately they came in with some computers. In the past we have no access to computers, but today both students and staff have access.
I have been in the school since 2008. After schooling or after my education, I would like to become a teacher in the future.
When I leave school, I want to become a lawyer. This project, as far as the computers are concerned, was a brainchild of all of the teachers at TAFE IT at Castle Hill.
This came from an idea that TAFE could be involved in something that Rotary was involved in. It covered a vast area for us. One, being able to deal with real people, real clients, instead of giving them scenarios to deal with. Then it was a sustainable idea, and being, as TAFE teaches sustainability, something that was going to involve the students in working with clients and the sustainability of computers that could last without any moving parts, that could last in temperatures that we've seen reach unbelievable temperatures here.
Well, as a student, this project is it's meant the world to me and all my fellow students at Castle Hill TAFE. It's working on a real project and being able to come over here and install and work on the project from start to finish has really boosted the learning experience at TAFE. It's just made the whole experience a whole lot better, and being able to come over here and experience the different cultures like we did in PNG and in Vanuatu has been really life-changing for myself.
I'm humbled by the fact the principal of the school wrote a song, and the chorus sums up the feeling of the community. You will be remembered by what you have done. You will be remembered by what you have done. I've really enjoyed my time as a Rotary volunteer. Why don't you come and join us in an overseas project?
Well, that, I hope, gives you a bit of a background of what a project can do to a community. Really builds it up, does a fantastic job. We win, they win. Win to everybody. Don't you agree, Miriam?
I certainly do, Phil. And I think the main thing that we've got to remember is that they've got to have ownership of every project that is done in the community. So we need to have them involved right
Very
from the
much so.
start.
Hey, I think we got a couple of questions, didn't we? Is there a couple of questions there, Les?
Yes, there is. Just for those that are watching, now's the time to post your questions in the chat box. But while you're doing that, we have a question for Miriam from Dorothy of Balgowlah. Miriam, what has kept you a member of Rawcs for so long?
I have become very, very passionate with the people that we're helping. I feel as if they're part of my family. When I leave, I feel as if I'm leaving part of my family there. It's the respect that they give me and the respect that I give them. And I'm just so happy that I can do something for them. It may be something little, but anything little will help in a developing country. And I get such an enormous amount out of it. I can't tell you how I feel when I come home.
Your passion doesn't show at all, Miriam.
Oh. Sorry.
Any more questions there, Les?
There's one for you, Phil. This is a question that we're sure that President Ron Burton in Chicago would like to ask. Rawcs seems to me to be a program that engages Rotary and changes lives. Do you agree? Wow.
Engages Rotary and changes lives. That sounds like a good slogan for the year, don't you think? I think that'd be very good, and as far as I'm concerned, it definitely engages Rotary in all different levels, different clubs getting together, Rotarians living together and really having fun together and changing lives. It changes our lives, it changes the lives when we do the work. Absolutely amazing, and this is really epitomises RI President Ron's theme for the year. Thanks very much for that, and we do hope that you enjoyed our presentation on Rawcs tonight. We enjoyed giving it to you.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Miriam, and thank you, Phil. I think that Rawcs is often a misunderstood program within Rotary, but you have certainly shown us the scope of the project, Rawcs, tonight, and we thank you for that. Yes, Engage Rotary, Change Lives certainly fits, and Miriam, I particularly like the point that you made earlier about changing lives and engaging Rotary of the people that you're working with in the communities, and how vital that is to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your company tonight. On behalf of our producers, Bobby Holder and Les Walsh, I'd like to invite you to join us again tomorrow, where the topic will be looking at the implications of the new laws in child protection. Thank you.